What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? Nathan and Alan here. We are your Heel Brothers, and welcome into the Virginia Scouting Report as the oldest rivalry in the South makes its way back to our television screens this Saturday up in Charlottesville, Virginia. And who better to cover this than Jeff from the Cavalier Connection. Dude, what's going on? It's good to see you. We always enjoy having getting to sit down and talk football or basketball with you. How have you been over there, and how's the guys over there at the Connection?
Everybody's been doing great. We're excited I'm excited to be on tonight. It has been a while. We always say we're supposed to hate the Tar Heels, and we are not Tar Heel fans, but we're Heel Brother fans. We are Heel Brother fans.
Yeah, you guys easily make it better to not root as hard against Virginia,
right?
As we would normally do. But man, we've had some fun earlier in the year. You know, kind of getting to meet for the first time and doing some other projects, some on your guys' platform. And we're glad to have you over here at the Scouting Report. And you guys have got an interesting team over there as well. But before we get into that, one thing I want to cover really quickly. This is the first football video that we're making since the passing of Tylee Craft. A lot of outpouring support has been for that family over there, Miss September, his mother. They had the celebration of life this past Sunday and down in Sumter, South Carolina, not too far from where we are personally located. But this weekend, it is going to continue as the Virginia football team, Tony Elliott, and the staff have agreed to wear, I believe it is the Tylee Craft stickers, the number 13 stickers on the helmets. There are going to be signs that Carolina has been allowed by Virginia to bring to the stadium, and Virginia reaching out and allowing Tylee Craft's memory to be held in the highest honor in the football realm. Thanks to Virginia, and I thought it was a really high-class move for Tony Elliott to do that. Carolina, and I think the entire ACC, tried to do the same exact thing a couple of years ago when the unfortunate events happened up in Virginia when you guys lost 3 players. And it's tragedy has struck, and it's good to see that teams, no matter rivalry or not, reaching out and wanting to make a difference and also live, keep these players' memories that lived on for forever. So I thought it was a high-class move by that organization over there, and I'm glad to see it. And Carolina's going to be doing special things as well. But Tylee Craft is always in our thoughts, prayers, and memories. Miss September as well. If you haven't went to the GoFundMe page, be sure and head over there. She needs all the support that she can get right now in this time. Dr. Bills are still here. So go over there and help that out as well. But this coming Saturday, North Carolina, a struggling team who's lost 4 straight after winning their first 3, is getting ready to go up against a Virginia team that has started to find a little bit of life over the last couple of games. Just coming off a great game against Clemson in Death Valley. I was keeping a very close eye on that game. Thought Virginia looked pretty solid, and I thought that this is a team that is going to give Carolina everything that they can ask for and a bucket more as well. So, Jeff, let us get an overview of what Carolina fans should expect from this Virginia team on Saturday.
Well, first of all, I felt a little bit of the opposite from the Clemson game. But going into it, we knew we didn't expect to win. Right. And if you tell me, if I don't watch the game and I see the final score, we covered the spread. But we got off to a hot start in that game, and then it just the wheels fell off. So we did start off. We started off the season 4-1. We've lost our last 2. Clemson, you kind of expected. We lost to Louisville in heartbreaking fashion. A game where some questionable coaching decisions, in our opinion. Felt like it was a game we really needed to win if we want to go bowling, which is what we feel is our next step in the building of the program. So now we get Carolina coming into town, and some would look at North Carolina and say, you guys have lost 4 in a row, and so we should win this game. But, as Jay and I were talking about it earlier tonight, like we're major concerns. To start off with, just us beating you guys last year in North Carolina in a game that, you guys
Carolina football has never been the same since either.
and you think you guys don't have something to play for. I mean, we know you do. You're 3-4. You're right there. You still got looking at the rest of your schedule. We see you guys could still win 7 or 8 games. You'd have to win out, but looking at the schedule remaining for you guys, so you guys are definitely a tough opponent. You're coming in. You're coming into an environment that's been a little disappointing. Our home crowds have been very disappointing. We were 4-1. We played Louisville. We put 32,000 people in the stands. It seats 65,000. You're 4-1. Like, you would expect the crowds to show up. So we got to figure out how we're going to get the crowds in there. And I'm sorry, I think I went on a little rant. You were asking me an overview of
no, brother, have at it, dude. This floor is yours, brother. Take it.
But
because no, you're speaking to some of the issues that Carolina has had. You talk about that 6-0 team that Carolina had last year that faced you guys. I was in the building for that game, and the crowd there was piss poor.
Right.
Imagine what has been. I don't know if you've caught any of the telecast of the Carolina games as of late, but that building has been real empty very early in games, and that's just
everybody's waiting for basketball season.
Amen. They are. I personally can't stand it. I personally hate it to death.
Right.
Because I'm a football guy. I love the football team, but you know, you're speaking to some of the stuff. So have at it, brother.
No, I'm there with you. Coming into this game, we look at it from the Virginia point of view of it's a must-win football game. If we're going to become bowl eligible this year, we have to win this game. Our remaining schedule after North Carolina, we still have to go to Notre Dame. We have SMU at home, which is looking really good. Pitt at Pitt, and Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech. We never beat Virginia Tech. I don't care where the game's at. So we have to beat North Carolina at home, and we got to find another win somewhere with the remainder of that schedule, which I don't know where that win's at. I'm a Tony Elliott fan. I want him to succeed because I like him as a human being, and I want him to succeed. I think he's done some good things in the recruiting. It's a tough schedule for him, considering if we don't win this game, there's a possibility we could still finish 4-8. And do you keep your job at 4-8? So big game. Offensively, we have Anthony Calandria at quarterback, and last year I thought he was dynamic. He did not play against North Carolina, but he played about half the season. He's one of those guys that's kind of like Johnny Manziel, or if you want to go to an NFL comp, Brett Favre. And I want to say a poor man's Brett Favre. When he's good, he's one of those guys who had been a risk taker and feels like he could fit the ball in anywhere. Well, this year they really talked so much about him protecting the football, which I agree. I think they took away some of his it factor. And so he just looks to me like he's not the same quarterback. The dynamic plays are few and far between. If North Carolina wants to shut him down, if they can keep him in the pocket, because he's not the tallest guy, string him out and make him make a play from the pocket. I'm guessing as that look on your face says y'all have had a hard time doing that.
Haynes King, just go watch any film of Haynes King last week with a bum ankle running all over us.
Well,
2 weeks ago, we got a bye last week, but
I thought Calandria got some run against North Carolina last year.
It was Musket last year.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
They came in with the backup. I'm thinking, Virginia's struggling. Here we go. It's a good game. I get to sit in the blue zone, free food. Here we go. And nothing.
Right. Well, so Musket
jumped on.
Well, Musket was actually the starter coming into the season last year, and then he got hurt in the first game against Tennessee. And so Calandria was a true freshman, and he definitely impressed. And our hopes were high coming into the season for, like I said, we're realistic. We were hoping for a bowl bid this year. We lost to Maryland at home, and we lost to Louisville at home. And both of those games, we had shots. We definitely had a great shot against Louisville.
Yeah, Maryland, I thought you guys were going to pull that one out.
I thought we were too. And then Maryland, we played about a half of football. And then so now it's all in front of us. So we got a lot of work to do. But offensively, we look best when we're able to run the football. We got a couple backs in Pace and Xavier Brown, who when they're good, they're good. Xavier Brown, he's a dynamic running back who can he's good for breaking free and getting those big runs, but then there's games where I don't understand what we're doing. You know, sometimes it's like the video game. If something's working, why go away from it? But we tend to go away from it. Something's working, and then let's go try something else. I'll just keep pushing the button until they stop it, and then we'll try something different. We like to run. We have a quarterback. They call it the Grady Bunch. I don't know if you've seen this. It's like our tush push. And so when we have a yard to go or so, we'll bring in the backup quarterback or third string quarterback, Grady, and they call it the Grady Bunch, and they do this tush push. And this thing has worked probably 95% of the time. But sometimes, you know, we tend to get cute, as coaches like to do. And just, for example, in the Clemson game last week, we drove down the field. We had a 3rd and 1. We decided down in their area, I want to say around the 10, we decide we want to come out and throw the football, and we don't get it. And so then we end up kicking a field goal. I'm prefacing all this by saying a couple of things. Number one, when you're playing Clemson, you want to control the ball as a Virginia team. Control the ball, control the clock, run the football. You could Grady Bunch it 2 times in a row, expect you would at least get it on one of those and maintain the ball. Number 2, you're not going to win with field goals. Coach Elliott kicked the field goal. The week before against Louisville, on 4th and go from the 4, we go for it. It didn't make any sense. And we could have – that was right before the half, and we could have went into the locker room up. Instead, we went in tied. So we don't know what the method to the madness is. But we've had struggles scoring in the red zone touchdowns, and that's why I say if 4th and goal from the 4, why don't you kick the field goal? It'd be different if we were Patty Mahomes, who doesn't have trouble scoring in the red zone like that. But so I don't know what the method to the madness is on offense sometimes. We have receivers. Chris Tyree came back last week, his first week back off of injury, the transfer from Notre Dame. We've had a hard time getting him going. There's a lot of weapons on offense. We had Trell Harris had been a budding superstar receiver, speed, but he's been out for the last few weeks. He'll be out Saturday against North Carolina. Malachi Fields, 6'4", big receiver, strong receiver. He's our guy.
Yeah, Mac talked about him in the press conference this past Monday.
Malachi's tough. And, you know, we can just throw the ball and he'll go get it. And he's tough to bring down. Tyler Neville at tight end. He's been really good this year. So there's weapons there. Andre Green, your former guy.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him.
He has not really done a whole heck of a lot. He's had some injury bug early in the year, and we really haven't gotten a lot out of him. Maybe I believe he's playing this week.
That we had for a couple of years.
Yeah, well, we have the same ones right now, I guess. But I don't know if it's the player or if it's the schemes or what's going on. There's been some question marks around our offensive coordinator, Des Kitchens. So that's kind of our offense in a nutshell. I don't know. I've ran it on. Virginia football has been tough. It's been tough the last few weeks. And
right. Sounds like you can just throw a different paint scheme and, you know, just call it North Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, you already got the Navy. All you have to do is just throw out the orange and throw out the Carolina blue, and boom, there you go.
Right.
But no, let's talk about Tony Elliott for a second. I mean, you've kind of hit on him a good bit. Struggles with the offense, kind of surprising to me considering he coming into the Virginia job in 2022. You know, he was the offensive coordinator for Dabo Swinney, you know, 2-time national champion, a Broyles Award winner in 2017, and was looked at very highly in the coaching ranks. And when you guys got Tony Elliott in, from what I could gauge, it seemed like the entire fan base was excited and happy to see a proven winner at his previous location to come in and take over this program. Currently sits with a 10-19 record overall. Tell me, you know, kind of coming in, the first year doesn't go well. Last year doesn't go well. You get a big win against number 10 North Carolina. We were kind of hoping that you would finish out that season really well because it made us feel a little bit better about ourselves. But it seems like this year coming in again, nobody thought much of Virginia at all. Didn't expect, I don't think anybody in the ACC expected Virginia to be sitting here 4-3, but they have. They found a little something. They've been competitive in their last couple of games against some very well opponents. An ACC runner-up last year in Louisville, you do lose in heartbreaking fashion. Put up a fight against Clemson as well. Had some struggles early on, like the Maryland game. But all in all, as an outsider, this Virginia team has looked a whole heck of a lot better than it's looked the past couple of seasons. Tell me what Tony Elliott has done to transform this Virginia team. And, it hasn't been overnight success, but it does seem like there are some remnants of some things that's starting to pick up now. Like the pieces are starting to be put together little by little. Yeah,
I think it starts off with culture. He's really big on culture and family. And, if you look at Tony Elliott, he's had a tough hand. His first years when the shooting, the three players were murdered, unfortunately. Right. And when you're coming into a situation where Bronco Mendenhall, I've former Virginia play-by-play guy Tony Covington said to us, he quit. That dude quit on the team. So then you got Tony Elliott comes in, and he's trying to pick up the pieces between people who've transferred. Then you get the killings there at the end of the season. Then you got to come into year 2. You're still trying to build the program, get your players in. Plus, you're coming off of that. I mean, just a catastrophic event. So he really has had. That's why I say I believe he should be, given a couple years. Like, I just don't feel as if he's had a fair shake of things. And now I see where he's getting these recruits in. And Virginia's not your 5-star, your 4-star. You get a 4-star once in a while, but typically we're a 3-star university. But his recruiting, I feel like, has come around. The transfer portal at one point coming into this season was ranked inside the top 20. Every recruit we've talked to, and pretty much every recruit that's coming in the next couple of years we've talked to, and they love Tony Elliott. The moms love Tony Elliott. The moms tell him this is where you're going.
He is only 44.
Only 44. But so he's building the culture. Players seem to love him. It seemed like they'd run through a brick wall for the guy, but it's just not. It just hasn't really. This year has definitely started off much better. We were picked, I think, next to last in the ACC this year or somewhere down there, and it's definitely gone much better than folks expected. We kind of felt like this is about where we would be. We were hoping for 4-2 or 5-1 at this point, or what are we, 4-3? So we were hoping for 5-2 or 6-1 at this point. Looking at that schedule, just seeing what we have upcoming, we didn't see North Carolina being 3-4 right now either. So, but you guys, your injuries early on.
So a lot of figuring out over here, a lot of figuring stuff out.
Right. And you guys coming off a bye allows people to get healthy and, game plan for us. But Coach Elliott, I'm a fan. I'm not always a fan of what he calls out there or what's being called. I wouldn't say it's Coach Elliott calling it. The biggest question sometimes is Coach Kitchens, our offensive coordinator. But maybe Tony needs to take some of the reins a little bit. So I would give him another year, even 4-8, and that'd be tough to stomach. That'd be a 7-game losing streak to end the year, but I'd give him another year. He's got a really good recruiting class coming in. He's done a good job in the transfer portal. So this past year, we thought he did a good job in the transfer portal, but there's been some struggles.
All right, so let's jump into this defense. Who is the most impactful player on your guys' side? And if it's not Jonas Sanker, then who is it?
Well, Sanker's one of them. He's a beast out there, and he's going to hit you. And the other one is Cam Robinson. And even last week against Clemson, he ended up making an interception in the game. He's impactful, but definitely Jonas Sanker, Cam Robinson, probably our top 2 defensive players. I know you guys have a nice running game. And what's your running back? Marion
Hampton.
I couldn't think of it all of a sudden. And he's concerning to us. Those kind of running backs have gashed us this year. But defensively, Cam Robinson, Jonas Sanker. Our secondary hasn't really been a big issue. It's been more of another concern for us is you guys seem to have a good tight end room, and our defensive eyes have not been the greatest in picking that up. And so tight ends have kind of torched us this year.
Yeah, coming into this game, we've actually lost our top tight end and Bryson Nesbitt. He sustained an injury in the Georgia Tech game a couple of weeks ago. He is ruled out. He was originally ruled out indefinitely. I've heard he will just be out currently. They're kind of taking it game by game that he's going to be out for this game. You do have John Copenhaver still, and also the Max Johnson's brother, Jake Johnson, who's a young kid. He's getting his feet wet in the college game a little bit more. He wasn't quite ready to be a consistent player for us, but it looks like he's going to have to step up and be that way as well. But I want to talk a little bit about your quarterback right here, Calandria. Mac pointed out in his press conference that you do have Calandria and you also have Musket, and both of those guys have shown the ability to be able to get out and run. And running quarterbacks have killed North Carolina for God knows how long. Ever since a quarterback could run, Carolina's had issues with it. And, it's been same thing so far this year as well. Eli Holstein went crazy on us from Pittsburgh. Haynes King went crazy with a bad will against us a couple of weeks ago against them at home. So I want to talk to him about a little bit about him. Talk about the dual threat guy that both of them are, and some packages that you could see them running out there to kind of confuse our defense, and our defensive line has been very confused at times this year. But also at Calandria, you got 1,649 yards on the season currently right now passing. Does have 4 interceptions. So tell me, what are his strengths and weaknesses outside of the running game?
You said his strengths outside of the running game?
Outside of the running game.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's at his best when he's off script, when he's moving around and then an off script play. Packages wise, I know that they're going to probably try to get Chris Tyree involved. Maybe I would like to see them move him back put him back in the backfield, maybe run some wheel routes. The dude is ultra fast. Malachi Fields, they like to throw the wide receiver screen to him as well, because Fields can catch the ball and he's hard. He's a beast to bring down. Calandria, like I told you guys earlier, if you can just keep him in the pocket, he's not the tallest guy. I think he might be listed at 6 foot, but I want to say he's probably 5'10". He's definitely hard to see over the defense. And I don't know. The offense just has not looked smooth at all with him this year. But he can make some plays. I think one of the plays he made this year in the Maryland game, I don't know if you saw it. And this is, like I said, when he's off script, he'll make a play. It was really not the brightest play to try, but it was, I want to say 10 seconds to go. We had the ball at like the 14-yard line. He drops back to pass. The defense is on him. He breaks free, makes a Superman kind of play, and takes it into the end zone. And he scored with 1 second on the clock. We had a timeout left, and Coach Elliott is like, we got to be smarter than that. Like, you got to throw the ball away. We're going to end up with no points here. So, but those are the kind of plays, though. And I was telling Jay earlier tonight, I said, those are the kind of plays we need him to do. Like, he just needs to take some chances. And even Coach Elliott said this week that he wants Calandria this week to take some shots down the field. That he needs to take some risks. And so I would expect to see them try to take some shots down the field to Malachi. And he definitely said he'd like to get Chris Tyree involved as well. So we'll see. I know you're shaking your head at Tyree or I don't know who, but off of the speed. But we really got nothing out of Chris Tyree this year. He returned a kick for a touchdown, called back for holding, and I want to say he had one more big play that was called back for a holding, and that's been about it. So we're still waiting on that one to get something out of it. Tony Muskett, I don't know if you'll see him. He played against Clemson in the fourth quarter last week, and he looked sharp. And some people would say, well, he was playing against the backups, but Clemson's backups are 4 and 5 stars. So
yeah, they're good.
It's not like he was going against, he was going against players better than our players. So I think Muskett's is probably the safer play, but I don't think they're going to make that kind of a move. So.
Yeah, I shake my head because you say go ball and wheel route, and I'm just like, North Carolina can't cover either one right now, it seems.
Yep.
Well, Tyree, they tried to get him in a wheel route last week, and it didn't work. I think we overthrew him or something, but he's ultra fast. If you get him in a wheel route or something, the dude can make a play. You just hope the first game of the year, I think he was just a hair too excited. I think he dropped about 6 balls, and I'm talking put right in his hands. He was a 4-star recruit at Notre Dame.
That's tough.
I started looking. As a matter of fact, as he was talking about the wheel routes and everything, I started looking at your running back receiving yards. And Alan, you know exactly why. And they got a running back in Pace that seemingly has caught some passes this year. So Carolina might be in for another running back receiving showdown.
It really does seem. It really does seem like if you come out of the backfield, you have like a cloak of invisibility on because nobody picks anybody up out of the backfield.
Yeah. It's an instant 15 yards.
You guys are saying that, and I know you guys aren't the coaches, but I would hope to God, Coach Elliott, I hope that you've seen this in film, and could you please let's get the ball to the running back. Let's get the ball to Tyree.
Well, you're not watching. You watch film. That's all you're going to see.
Right.
I mean, all you have to do is go back to the last
three.
Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh. Right?
Yeah.
So in the third quarters, that's a time for y'all to get us too. We've been outscored in the third quarter this year, 82-23. I don't know what happens. We get off our first drive when we're all scripted. Things look really good, but. What's the harm in you script out 10 plays or 12 plays? What's the harm in going back to the script again? I feel like we get through the script and we're rolling, and then we burn it. We put it in the trash can. Why don't we go back to it again? We could start right back to play 1. Let's do it again if it's working.
But, either that or start at 10 and go back to 1.
Yeah, you could go 6, 4, 2, 7, 9, 10. Just alter it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, third quarters we've been brutal. Fourth quarters we've been pretty dang good. We scored 21 against Clemson in the fourth quarter. I'll tell you where the game really was, though. We were down a ton.
This just has fun written all over it.
Yeah. What you think, brother?
We do get also on defense. I know you were talking about defense earlier. Antonio Clary, one of our strong safeties, back, and he should be back. And he's going to be a big help. We have Jonas Sanker. Also, we have another. We're safety strong. Corey Thomas Jr. This dude is built. He's like 6'4".
Can we borrow some?
Look, you guys are 1 game behind us overall. Maybe not in the ACC standings. So
0-3 in the ACC standings.
Yeah,
I know you're 0-3 in the ACC, but
North Carolina's 1 above what? Cal
is that? Yeah, you guys are next.
North Carolina's basically last. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I don't even know if has Cal won an ACC game.
You guys are ahead of Cal.
Yeah, Cal's.
I think you guys are ahead of Cal, right? Whoever's in, you guys are next to last, I believe.
Yeah, North Carolina's next to last, and
but I don't. Go ahead.
It seems like Virginia on the defensive side has been pretty efficient on the takeaway side. You guys have intercepted 5 balls, 4-6 fumbles, recovered 4-6 fumbles, recovered 4 of them. But at the same time, you're giving up 430-something yards a game, almost 30 points a game. What do you think the disconnect is there? It's just boom or bust? Or is it
some of that? But then some of it has been the defense has gotten tired. the game against Maryland, Virginia just, we were punting the ball or we turned the ball over on some freak turnovers, and the defense was back on the field. The Maryland game, the defense held us in the game all game long. And finally, I think it just wore them out. It's, a 30-minute second half, and I want to say Maryland had the ball for 22 minutes. Eventually, the defense gets tired. And then we've had some moments of some boomer bust. Guys just breaking free, running the football. That's what's concerning to me, is you guys' running game. Like I said, the tight end game, the throws over the middle. We've kind of been, I would call us like bend, don't break. It's kind of how we've played, and that's where we've gotten some of those interceptions. We've got that interception.
Sit down. I'm having flashbacks. I got to sit down.
but you say bend, don't break, and it, according to next game stats or whatever stat place I looked it up on, opponents are scoring 88% of the time they enter the red zone.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that's what we're trying to do. We're sitting back. They're picking us apart. We're not giving up the big plays. It's just we're sitting back, and then we've gotten some turnovers. I don't know if they were red zone turnovers. I know we've got a couple in there on them, but that's what I really mean by the bend don't break. Well, I guess you could say we're bending and breaking, but we're bending, we're sitting back, and we're not letting teams beat us for 80-yard touchdown throw and those kind of things. So
Chiswick and Rodzinski could be cousins.
Could be what?
I mean, listen to the last names. Listen to that last name though.
Chiswick and Rodzinski could be cousins.
Come on now. You could make a case. That sounds cousins. Oddly similar there.
Right.
Just throwing that out there, man. They're third cousins. They'll see each other at Thanksgiving. It's almost that time. Yeah. Yeah, but no, the last thing I want to hit on tonight, and this is something that I have kept a close eye on. As a matter of fact, I didn't really know about this until just a few weeks ago. After the JMU game, I heard about this with North Carolina. I was at this game when JMU walked in, scored 70, right. And it was just best seats I ever had. What, dude? I don't know what it is. Great seats for the Virginia game, L. Blue Zone, L. That game. Great seats, JMU, L. I don't think I need to go back to Kenan Stadium.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to those seats.
No, I wouldn't. Heavily thinking about just not going. But conversation has been different between Carolina football and the lack of support that it gets from its chancellors and its leadership. And this is something that's been well known for a while. But you turn that around and you look at Virginia. Virginia's sitting right now. They're getting a brand new operations center, $80 million Hardy Football Operations Center off of Massey, opening up next summer. It looks like
it's open. It's open right now.
Has it finally opened up?
It opened right before the season. Yeah.
Okay. So they're using it full time now.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, then you look at that. You see the change in Virginia where they're kind of going all in on their football scene. North Carolina's not the same. What do you believe the difference has been for Virginia? Have they been known to do that? Has it been a struggle for any football coach to get some support from the higher brass as of later in the last few years here?
No, I think the support has been there. We were talking about this the other night, the football operation, the weight room and all that stuff that they just built. I mean, it's state of the art. We talk to these recruits and we ask them about it and compare it to other, schools they visited, and everybody, they can't say enough positive things about it. And our question is, you can spend all the money on that. What do we have to do to get the athletes in there? The other financial side. Unfortunately, that's what we're talking about now, as well as butts in the seats that we were talking about earlier. How do we fill the stadium? And we actually, on last Thursday, and we had put out a Twitter poll, and we were asking people what do you have to do to get ideas? Give us ideas, and we did a show. And we actually took about 6 of their ideas that we could implement right now. Carla Williams, our AD, let's do it right now. And then 6 that you can do in the very near future to increase attendance to the games. And terrible enough, last Thursday, we actually emailed the AD, Carla Williams, to, and of course we invited her on the show. Well, it's the same day the news came out about Tony Bennett retiring. So I think we picked a bad time to send that off. But
well,
so,
let me ask, just as a pure curiosity, because we've been hearing some of the same stuff in North Carolina. What did you guys pull out of the Virginia fans that you guys had?
We feel like it's 32. We got 32,000 to the Louisville game, and we were 4-1. And our thought, and so folks are talking about everything from, you need an experience. Virginia, I don't know if you've been to Scott Stadium, but it's old. It's old. You need an experience. It's I almost want to compare it to Duke. I know Duke's is old, but you need to give them an experience. We need to get the kids involved in the community, go to the schools, give tickets away. Why are we letting 33,000 seats sit empty? Why don't we go to the schools and donate to bring kids into the game? You get them excited about the university, and hopefully Jay and I were 12, 13 years old going to football games, and here we are today doing a podcast, and we still go to the football games. Experiences, like I know you guys may have seen, USC does the experience where you can run out with the football team. Now Penn State, when they play Penn State, this is where I heard about it. They actually, one of the Penn State fans paid to run out with the USC football team. So he put on a little show there for that one.
But, dude, imagine if we got to run out for whom the bell tolls. Oh my gosh, I'd cry. I'd be running with the flag. Dude, yeah.
But anyway, just experiences. Your Virginia seating, it's terrible. But the biggest thing back in maybe 20 years ago, and I know a lot of universities have done stuff like this, but you have your every season ticket holder who were diehard fans, were coming every year. We know some of these folks, and they changed the process. You got to donate all this money to keep your seat. And if you donate more money than I donate, you lose that seat, and you're moved in the stadium. So like, Jay and I had season tickets when we were teenagers to early adulthood, and those seats now, I mean, I can't afford them. They're between the price of the seats, and then you have to donate per season ticket. God knows how much for those seats, and depending on your section, is an amount you have to donate per ticket, just to be able to buy those tickets. And I don't know, and so I think that turned a lot of fans off.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So some of those fans dropped out. We also, people are saying we need to reduce the size of Scott Stadium. Tarp off some of it. The stadium used to seat, when Jay and I went, their stadium set like 45,000, and we used to sell that place out, and now, I mean, 20,000 short. I don't know. It's something to be said about selling out a stadium and getting loud and tightening everything up. Those are just some of the ideas that people were presenting.
Any question on like the tailgating scene? Because that's the
tailgating was another one. Definitely was brought up. With tailgating out there it's tough, and the parking is terrible around the stadium. You got to pay a ton if you want to park around the stadium. They have some places, in the vicinity, like a mile walk to get in, that you can do a little tailgating, but getting the university involved in the tailgating. And funny enough, I was on, because this weekend I was looking for a couple more tickets to the game, and I didn't even know they've actually got a couple experiences they're selling now, one of which is a tailgating experience. It's like $100. I don't know what the cost is actually, because there was a few experiences, and so I better not say the exact amount, where they provide some food or something. I don't know exactly, but
I think North Carolina has something like that.
Tailgating was definitely one that was brought up as well.
Well, let me ask one more question before this, but it's kind of funny you mention all this stuff, because that's something I wanted to ask, because as a, like you said earlier, Virginia being this 3-star school, that's who they've been. They haven't been They haven't been able to recruit the 4s and 5s, and the football program has kind of been similar to North Carolina's in records and things of that nature. I was curious to know what the support was on that side, because it's a big question over here at Carolina that we're going through, and it's becoming even more public now than it's ever been. These issues have been there for years, but it's becoming even more public as more and more as we send. But getting on the oldest rivalry in the South, North Carolina, Virginia. What is some of your earliest memories of this rivalry? And as a matter of fact, it is because of this rivalry game that Alan and I are right here on the Hill Brothers right now. It is the image from the 2021 game where Brendan Armstrong came in and threw like for 1,000 yards. It was ridiculous. But Carolina won like 59-30 something that game. Sam Howell's last year. Yeah. We took our grandfather. It is the cover image of the Hill Brothers account. It will forever be that way. He's the patriarch of the whole thing. It is because of this rivalry here. But I'm curious to know, what is your earliest moments of this rivalry, and what is one of probably your best highlight ever out of this rivalry?
So crazy enough, the first ever Virginia football game I went to was against North Carolina. It was my age was, I can't tell you the age. I want to say it was 12 or 13. And I'll never forget my dad. I was surprised that morning. They got me up as a 12 o'clock noon kickoff. And we were going with a buddy of my dad's, and we went. And it was Virginia had a turf field. I'll never forget coming into the stadium the first time as a kid, big-eyed, just excited as could be. Yeah. And I was, from me to my laptop, to none other than your current head coach, Mac Brown. He was the head coach at North Carolina. And I thought, if cell phones were around back then, I would have been texting everybody, guess who I'm next to? I'm next to Mac Brown. I was so excited. And Virginia actually won that game. And one last tidbit from that game that we were just talking about this the other day. What's that?
Mac Brown was coaching in Virginia. That's never its recipe for success.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember them having, it was so old school. They had the tire outside the stadium hanging, and you throw the football through the tire. Mm-hmm. And I threw 3 for 3 and won a T-shirt. I thought I was God's gift to the quarterback world. I thought maybe
Johnny Unitas.
I thought Coach George Welsh was going to see me and maybe go ahead and offer me early. So that was my very first ever game, was against North Carolina. I'll never forget it. Probably one of my best memories was, I don't recall the year. It was in the mid-'90s, and I don't recall. I want to say potentially Ronald Curry was quarterbacking at North Carolina. And I just remember North Carolina having this big lead and us coming back. And I want to say quarterbacking for us was Tim Sherman. These are all names. I don't know if you know who I'm speaking of, but I just remember, this is terrible. I think I was probably like 18 or 19, and there's this kid. This kid was probably 13 years old, a North Carolina fan that was sitting a few rows in front of us. He had just ragged us all game long, just talking pure trash. And Virginia came back and won the game in dramatic fashion. And I'll just never forget, Jay was at the game with me. And shameful enough, and the kids' parents were Virginia fans. Shameful enough, as we charged the field, because at Virginia, any opportunity to charge the field, we're coming.
Oh man,
it was a dramatic ending, and they won it. And we found that kid first and had something to say to him before we jumped over the brick wall and came on the field. It's shameful. He was a young kid. We had no business.
Hey, I'll say this much. Young kid gonna talk some trash. He gonna catch some strays eventually, man. Me and Alan did the same thing back in Charlotte early part of this year when a South Carolina baseball fan had some stuff to say, and fortunately Carolina did not come back and win that game, which was a very sad thing. But yeah. Hey, I don't care. Whatever age you are, you gonna talk junk long enough, you gonna catch some strays, brother. I don't care.
I think his parents gave him a good warning, but he was giving it to us, and we got the final laugh on our way down to the field. So those are probably two of my and I believe it was the same game. Ronald Curry had verbally committed to Virginia, and he ended up flipping and going to North Carolina. And Every time it's when Curry came on the field, the boos. He was booed the whole time until the possession was over, and then they waited till the next time. So,
man, Alan, you wrap us up, brother. You wrap us up with it.
Okay, well, this one has nothing to do with defense. So, why is Virginia fans, Virginia alumni, Virginia everybody, so touchy about their campus being called grounds?
I knew that's what you were going to say. I don't know that answer. I don't know it. You know, we are special in Charlottesville. That's why they say
we are special.
That's why they say we are, and this is not a compliment. But we've talked about maybe we need to embrace this, and maybe it'll bring the fans back. But that's why they say we're the wine and cheese school. I don't know.
They do.
They call us wine and cheese.
I thought we had been.
Yeah, I thought North Carolina
wine and cheese fans. You know, you go to a Virginia football game, and people are always for years up until I want to say until Bronco Mendenhall came in. Al Groh too, maybe to an extent, but you know the guys are there in khakis, a blue button up, and the orange tie, and the girls are all dressed in their spring sundresses, and that's what the university was. That's what they were known for, and so they were called the wine and cheese. So Jack, my son, who's actually part of the podcast, he's actually he's gotten started with a morning radio show here. In Hampton Roads area. And so the host of the show, and he's a veteran guy who's been doing this for a long time, he hates Virginia. It's evident on the show, and he gives Jack crap, and he always calls us the wine and cheese fans. So I guess that's what I'm saying all that to say I don't know why it's a big deal to be called the grounds. That's why Jay and I, they, you know, if we had put the application in to go to school there, they would have laughed at it. So all we can be is sports fans. We couldn't sniff getting into the school. So I don't know.
If there was going to be one of us to make it, Alan would have been the guy to make it to North Carolina. I wouldn't have come anywhere close. I don't like school enough. I don't.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I'm a hands-on guy. That's why I went to a tech school. Like, do not put me in a classroom. I'll lose my mind.
Right.
Yeah. But
internet don't have an answer either. It's just it's the traditional.
Traditional name. Ain't got nothing for you, dude.
No, I'm serious. It says.
I might want to shut up. Mine might start up here.
Let's see. Thomas Jefferson designed the original grounds of the university, which is called the Academic Village. What is the meaning of grounds in UVA? The term used by generations of students, faculty, and alumni to refer to the university rather than campus. Basically, grounds is just the traditional name used for the campus at UVA.
We're UVA. The other question I get a lot about is people ask me, what is a wahoo?
Yeah, what is a wahoo?
That is a good question, actually.
I really don't know. I think it's a bird, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to our, but we call ourselves the Who's, and
I think it's a bird.
Hey, look,
we
love the Who's, we love the grounds. We're UVA all the way.
Y'all are an interesting bunch up there. That is,
we like to be a little different.
We have one family member that is a Virginia fan, die hard, by the way. And they love trashing on North Carolina.
Who's that?
Tina. Yeah. Big time Virginia people. So yeah, and they're a little bit more on the hardcore side. They're not like the people at the Cavalier Connection that are just nice and fun to talk to. When they start talking to Virginia, they'll
be more like the 18-year-old yelling at the 13-year-old.
Right.
Yeah. I want to smoke a cigarette, and I don't even smoke. Yeah. So, well, tell us. Okay, you've been there. You've been going there since you're just 12, 13 years old, right? You done said this. Tell me some traditions that go down at Virginia that maybe we don't know about.
Oh gosh. So we have the hill at the back of the end zone. So they've turned that into, that's a student section, part of the student section. tradition. This is terrible for me not to just be able to blurt something out.
Okay, I'll give you an example. The Charlotte 49ers, they have a pregame, an ambulance they turned into like a little liquor bar, and they have which is interesting because the Charlotte 49ers is not based on gold. That's the San Francisco 49ers.
Right.
But anyway, the Charlotte 49ers have a pickaxe, and in the handle of this said pickaxe, there's 3 shot glasses. And then it's a customary thing where 3 individuals get up and take a shot off the pickaxe because you have to have all 3 people to balance it. That's a tradition there. Minnesota has a milk tanker. They drink a lot of milk.
Do y'all get a sword out and just?
So the only thing we don't have any traditions. Then we've come out on the horse with the Cavalier riding the horse and got the sword and circles the field before the game. There's no real, the other tradition is when we score a touchdown, which I know everybody has their own thing. Just another wine and cheese moment, but we sing. It's like the New Year's song, but it's "We Come From Old Virginia," and everybody has their arms around each other and sways in the crowd and they sing.
At least you don't throw streamers.
What's that?
At least you don't throw streamers.
Well, JMU throws streamers. I know that. I don't know if they were at North Carolina, but when they came to us last year, it turned me into hating JMU more than you can imagine with those streamers going all over the place.
Dude.
Oh, Duke, before their pregame, before the game starts, they play the opposing team's fight song.
Oh.
Duke has to play North Carolina's fight song. It's glorious.
And it literally says, "Go to hell, Duke," in the fight song. Yes. I just thought it was fun.
We do a little cartoon on the video board where Cavman is, on his horse, and he goes and stabs the Tar Heel or whoever our opponent is, and
that's pretty cool. So that's a tradition. And you got a little cartoon TV show before the game. You should run with that. That's a good one.
Is it like old school Tom and Jerry style, or what is it?
No, well, so it used to be, and then so the cool thing about it used to, especially, so the horse is riding through town, and he just, then there's a fight with the mascot, and then when our mascot wins, they time it up to where the horse and the Cavman on the horse comes out the tunnel at that time. Mm-hmm. We had a bad one time the Cavman came out. My uncle, he's a Duke fan. He don't ever let me forget about this. Cavman came out on the horse, and Cavman got thrown off the horse.
So, that's like the Sooner wagon got tipped over that one game.
Oh yeah,
that was glorious.
Yeah. So nothing too crazy. They do the parade, the player march into the stadium type of thing. There's nothing like the Charlotte 49ers or that you were talking about or anything like that. So, or I've just missed out.
No, I would say it's the cartoon.
3.
I would say it's the cartoon.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I like the cartoon. The cartoon's kind of cool. I'd like to see this.
So they just started. So they went away from it for a little bit of time, and they just started back up this year, and it's more I would consider, I guess you call it 2024 cartoonish. Was it anime type or
anime,
I don't. Yeah. I like the old way better, but
yeah, I like Tom.
If you're going to be there, record the video board, throw it at us in the Twitter.
Yeah. I'll be there. I'll record it and
throw it at us in the Twitter. I love the phrasing. The phrasing of that was awesome. Well, one final thing, and then we're gonna get you out of here. This has been the longest scouting report we've done so far. I've loved it
by far.
And I had a feeling it was gonna be because it's a Cavalier Connection, bro. We have too much fun with these guys all the time. All of you over there. But score prediction. I want to know what your score prediction is. How do you think the game's going to briefly go? And who do you got coming out?
I'm nervous. We were doing an episode earlier tonight, and I didn't give a score prediction yet because I hadn't come up with one. But since I got the feet to the fire here, I envision this is going to be a high scoring game.
Oh.
And I'm going to go ahead. and I'm gonna go ahead and take my team. I'm gonna say 31-27 Virginia. I expect a lot of scoring in this game.
That is a score I could see.
That's just under what ESPN has it in -4.5. So you wouldn't quite cover.
And, what's the over/under on the game? Is it
4.5?
59.5.
59.5.
Oh yeah.
59.5.
They're expecting high scoring too. So
yeah, about 60. You might as well say you probably bet on 60 points.
So real quick, I'll get off here, but we do a Jay and I we've been friends forever. We always have picked the final score for every Virginia football game, and as kids, a $20 bill is a big deal. So we always said if you get it right, pay the other a 20. Well, lo and behold, about 35 years later, Virginia played Richmond this year, and my son Jack, he got involved. He's I want to get in on this now. Well, thank you for getting in, Jack, because I won $40. First time, took 35 years, and somebody finally got one right. I hope I get this one right too. But so my son had to give me a 20 right from the start, and Jay had to he Venmo'd me 20.
That is awesome, dude. Holy cow. That is some good stuff. But man, we've had a great time tonight. It's been a fun time. This is going to be an interesting game. Virginia and Carolina find themselves in very interesting situations. Carolina seemingly on the way down potentially. Virginia starting to find some rhythm under Tony Elliott, and it's going to make for a really fun game. Can't wait to watch it live. Plan to do a live watch party here. If you go, be sure and tweet at us, and we will. I'll keep Twitter up on the screen a good bit throughout the live stream as well, and it's going to be a fun time, man. Thank you for being here, Jeff. Hopefully you guys have some fun stuff over there. If you're a brand new Virginia fan and you've never heard of the Cavalier Connection, be sure, go in the description below, click the link, head over there, subscribe to their channel, follow them over there on X/Twitter, wherever you want to call it. They do a great job, and they love their Virginia Cavaliers, man, and they cover them very well. So fun guys. We always enjoy getting with them and having a good time and talking Carolina and Virginia. It's always a fun time over there. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.
Yeehaw!
Go Heels.
You don't want none.